Welcome to CAI Report. My name is Stephen Shuey, and I'll be your host for this segment on the CAI Report, brought to you by the Community Associations Institute. The CAI is a national organization of homeowners associations, the managers who work in these associations, and we also serve all the vendors who supply services to these associations. Management in the homeowners association field is a pretty important thing. Our associations run better when they're properly managed. One of the important things to do is get professional management and understand management. To help us do that today, I've brought in Jim Manning from the Walters Consulting Group. Jim, welcome to our show.
How you doing, Steve?
Good to have you here.
Good seeing you again.
So let's start out with this, the definition of management in the HOA today.
The industry has had a 30-year run on management, and the question always comes up is, who is the manager? What is the manager? The homeowner association, by law, and sometimes I get into it with some attorneys about this, the association is the manager of the community, and therefore the board of directors is responsible party.
So that's right. It's not the manager himself who's the manager. It's the board, really, isn't it, or the association?
And it's a difficult thing in many contexts of our industry. We have so many different types of properties. High-rise is a big thing today. Certainly those folks manage everything there. There's mechanical, there's concierge work, there's special services for people who live there, guests. On the other side of the coin, there's the famous portfolio manager throughout our industry. And I like to say that those folks really aren't, quote, the manager. And they have been beaten up because they carry that moniker.
Yeah.
They are subject matter experts. In fact, as each day goes by, and I spend time in our industry, and I've spent it for many years, you probably know, I see that our folks, not only the attorneys and the engineers and the CPAs, but our folks that we call managers with 3 to 5 years experience spend a lot of time learning the right thing to do. In our company, we're always looking for people who know what to do, unlike apartments, hotels, commercial property, where you have absolute control of the property on behalf of an owner maybe. Our folks have to interact with the real manager of the property, the board of directors, and follow that attitude, policy, as best they can to produce a good result, which is a quality of life for all the, quote, customers that live there. The customers are the other owners, and many of them have no idea of the management structure in their community.
You said something right up front with that, which is really striking. You said that the portfolio manager is a
subject matter expert.
Subject matter expert. You know, that's a really great definition.
Well, think about it for a moment. They know a lot about what? Property, maintenance, supervision. Eventually they better. They know a lot about insurance. They know a lot about the ever-changing laws in our industry. And you know, Steve, working in CAI for so many years, how those laws constantly affect.
Oh, yeah.
Those laws are promulgated by a very few groups of people, maybe 6 or 7 of them, from the attorneys to folks that are upset, and the apathy of the many suffer because of bad laws. And we have some new bad laws that are going to cause a lot of grief for the management link, the board of directors and that individual who's the subject matter expert or the actual manager of the property, such as, for example, yourself. I know where you work, you pretty much run that property, but you do have a board of directors that you report to. And that's our industry. So I like to say, as a professional, after all these years, with all the things people know from accounting, law, insurance, maintenance, psychology, time management, scheduling, salesmanship.
All that plays a part.
Communication's big with our internet and our voicemails and our actually websites today, and designing one that works for a homeowner association. If you think that just anybody can walk off the street and do all of that on behalf of 8 or 9 properties or one large property, well, I have to say, you have another thing coming, Steve. It's hard to get people who know what to do.
Well, yeah, in fact, one of the big pushes we're doing today is to get certified managers, because we know that they at least have some education behind them as to how to do what it is we do.
Certification is our industry's best bet that we do ourselves to get individuals involved in what we do. But what we're really looking for is a little bit more understanding of the professionalism of these individuals who do this work. And I have to say that if we could sort of bypass this manager thing in many cases. In many, not all cases. We know where general managers fit in.
Right.
We know where managers of companies fit in. But when someone comes to the association and they're running 8 or 9 association boards of directors, and they're attending meetings 6, 8 times a month, they're preparing them, they're handling all the problems that occur, they're reviewing the financials, they're annually looking at the budget, the reserve study, which is a big issue today, a very big issue.
Yes, sir.
I have to say that these folks are truly very professional. We have to find a way to start moving that professionalism up a tick for the respect and, by the way, the compensation for what they do.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you mentioned that because most of the HOAs highly respect their attorney. They highly respect their CPA. They even respect their own dentist or their doctor. But for whatever reason, they don't see the manager in that light. Why do you suppose that is?
I used to have a saying, and I'm going to back off it more and more as time goes on, as we make these changes, and I hope I'm around for it. I was telling my wife the other day, I'm kind of excited about some of the things that are happening, and I'm kind of wishing I was 35 years old again to see how this all comes out, because with the laws that are changing, with the growth of our industry, there isn't a metropolitan area that's going to allow anyone to build anything of more than 25 units without a map on it. It's just the way it's going to be. So homeowner associations are here to say,
you bet, it's
a recession-proof industry. Most of the folks who spend 3 to 5 years in our business full-time, they earn more than school teachers. They don't get the respect of a school teacher by any stretch of the imagination. And I used to say these things. The board's in charge and the manager runs around. And when the manager starts taking the manager position in a different light, or the professional or the subject matter expert, and saying, these are the ways to do these things correctly. We know this from our experience. And if you don't want to work with us as the management link to get this community in great shape, financially and aesthetically, lifestyle, then you know what? We're not going to work together.
Wow.
And when that starts happening, and it's beginning to happen. So
we've got a lot to talk about. You know, you can see by this, Jim understands what's going on here, and we've got a lot more to learn. So we'll be right back. Stay with us.
CAI Report is brought to you by Bright & Clean Windows. Trust Southern California's favorite window cleaning company to provide consistent, quality window cleaning service to your home and office. Let Bright & Clean Windows make you look great by removing hard water stains from windows and shower door enclosures, and by cleaning windows and mirrors to a gleaming shine. Call 346-9274.
Are you getting the most out of your banking relationship? At Community Association Bank, we exclusively serve community associations and professional management companies, saving you time by handling your banking transactions at your office. Community Association Bank. One bank, multiple options, maximum returns.
This is Mary Howell with the law firm of Epstein, Grinnell & Howell. With 3 Southern California locations and 20 attorneys, we offer prompt legal advice to homeowners associations. We can help you build a better neighborhood. Give us a call.
Epstein, Grinnell & Howell, helping you survive a legal sea of change.
Hey Tim, what's this I hear about your sponsorship with CAI doing so well?
My sponsorship in the television show?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's one of the best things I've done for the CAI, besides being a volunteer, that is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So is it helping you?
Well, it's helping me and it's helping my bottom line. I'm getting customers and making money.
What a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And you can have that opportunity too. Give a call to the CAI office so you can be a sponsor on our CAI report. The telephone number is 760-341-0559. Welcome back. My name is Stephen Shuey, and I'm sitting here with Jim Manning from the Walters Management Group. We've been talking about the professionalism of management. And Jim, you know, we've been talking now for quite some time, but, you know, we need to tell these people who you are. What makes you the expert you are? You know, you really do have a lot of knowledge in this area.
I spent a lot of years doing this, and a lot of years in property management also. In 1970, I got into this industry. It was beginning then. Interesting to note that many of the people that got into this business as quote managers didn't come from the property management industry. They actually came from the banking industry, from the legal profession.
Because they had the administrative backgrounds.
That, and the banks had the money invested in what was then known as the Garden HOA.
Okay.
Anaheim, Fullerton, places like that. Some of the old names are still around today. Some of the people in the industry are still working in it. But it has evolved, and I've evolved with it. During that period of time, I've managed, actually, a lot of properties. Apartment complexes, large ones, homeowner associations, many, timeshares, high-rises, movie theaters, restaurant operations, commercial property, industrial parks, and I even have my own landscape company for many years.
I got to tell you that you talk about all these different kinds of management you're doing. They're all different kinds of management, and they're not this old property manager anymore, like we call ourselves today the community manager, because that's a different profession than all the other ones. And you've experienced a lot of those professions.
That's a good name. The community manager is much better than the property manager for us, because it is a community thing that we're doing. We're trying to effect a service to a group of volunteers on behalf of those folks who either voted them in or they took the job because no one else would. You know that one.
Yep.
And help them maintain the value of that real estate. And that's another thing that I like to talk about a little bit. Over these years, being in California all these years, I know real estate. I'm a broker. I've dealt in real estate. I've developed properties. I've made money in it. And I understand that what our business is about, Steve, it's real estate. This is not a charity at all. Everyone gets to benefit when we can keep our properties better than a community of streets where the properties have been devalued because of disrespect for the neighborhood.
Well, isn't that respect also respect for the neighbors, and the community is the neighborhood, the people who live there?
Obviously. And in many places in California, we see old neighborhoods where there's no respect for anything. And those values in property, they've deteriorated. But in our communities, we have CC&Rs. We have bylaws to run the association. We have rules and regulations. Sometimes there maybe too many of them, people complain, but the purpose of that structure is to maintain the value. So over these years that I've been involved in this, I've seen the different kinds of management. So when I manage a large apartment portfolio, 2,000 to 3,000 units throughout the West, I'm the guy. I call the shots within the law, but I call the shots. We'll raise rents, we'll ask people to leave, we'll repair them, and all I have to do is report to an owner and say, is this within the budget? Should we do this? But with homeowner associations, it's ongoing.
It's a whole different thing.
It's an entirely different game. The management link, which I like to say, is between our subject matter expert, sometimes we call the manager, or the general manager of a large property or a high-rise, or someone who owns a company, a small company, maybe with a few employees, that provides management services, rightly calls themselves a management service provider. But we have to look at this, that the board of directors, they're the ones in charge, they're the ones that are responsible, and consequently the insurance industry knows that.
Well, in fact, the Civil Code says that the association shall be managed by a board of directors. They are the manager.
And they may employ certain experts, and they do, all the way from attorneys, CPAs, landscape contractors,
and managers.
Quote, managers are subject matter experts or consultants. We've developed at Walters Consulting Group, as an affiliate of Walters Management out of San Diego, a new company. We call it Premier Community Services, and it's been designed to provide services on an hourly basis, excluding financial, which is a straight basis, as small and challenged associations need that service. And Steve, here's what's going to happen soon. Within the next 5 years, I'm telling you it's going to happen. There's about 20,000 associations in the state of California that don't know CAI exists. They never heard of a management company. They wouldn't know where to find the right lawyer. They probably haven't filed their taxes and all those things because there's no teeth in the laws that say they must do that. That's changing. It's going to change because of the transfer of title and the reserves tied to the budget, tied to the actual money that's there. And I think when all of that comes around, those associations are going to be looking around for help to do things right and maintain property.
This is, I got to tell you, folks, this is really something. Can you hear that coming out? There's changes coming out, and you're involved in that, and we're just sitting here talking about it. And it's almost overwhelming to hear what's coming up.
One of the neat things that I think CAI has provided recently is a state of California legal updates on things that are being discussed at state level. And these things are no longer soft gummed laws. These things have teeth and consequences. I believe what we should be looking for soon is the licensing in some way of the people that provide the management services to the industry, excluding financial.
Okay.
I'm a believer that the financial side of it causes a grief for example, the Department of Real Estate. They never wanted any part of this business because of what? The late pay member.
Yeah.
There's always 10% who haven't paid their dues every month. There's 9 million homeowners that have community association homes in our state. What would that be? 10% who haven't paid, and they complain because of dunning letters and collection procedures. So the Department of Real Estate says, we don't want to touch that. And I think the financial management in our industry needs some serious reviews. But as for the other things, administrative, procedures, customer service, property maintenance supervision, I think a license is coming down the road.
It's going to have to, I think, Jim. I agree with you. The fact is that there's enough mom and pop operations out there that don't find out the education. They don't go to the CAI and learn what they should learn to how to properly, effectively consult with and manage the associations. And as a result of that, it's getting a bad name. There's bound to be a solution to all this, I know, and I think we're touching on it right now. But let's take another short break. We'll be right back.
CAI Report is brought to you by Bright & Clean Windows. Trust Southern California's favorite window cleaning company to provide consistent, quality window cleaning service to your home and office. Let Bright & Clean Windows make you look great by removing hard water stains from windows and shower door enclosures and by cleaning windows and mirrors to a gleaming shine. Call 346-9274.
Hey, Tim, what's this I hear about your sponsorship with CAI doing so well?
My sponsorship in the television show?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's one of the best things I've done for the CAI, besides being a volunteer, that is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So is it helping you?
Well, it's helping me and it's helping my bottom line. I'm getting customers, I'm making money.
What a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And you can have that opportunity too. Give a call to the CAI office so you can be a sponsor on our CAI report. The telephone number is 760-341-0559.
Communication is the key to successful homeowner association management. BestHOA.com specializes in creating websites that serve as the ultimate in communication tools. Taking advantage of technology to help association managers and board members efficiently and promptly deliver information is what BestHOA.com does best. Call BestHOA.com.
Whoa, check out the action on the net.
No, Oscar, stay away from the net.
Not net, internet.
Wow, it's so fast.
That's because it's Roadrunner high-speed internet service. It blows everything else away.
Hello, what's that?
All right, he's looking for another fish.
Oh, quick buy, quick buy.
So, you're from eBay.
Is that anywhere near Chesapeake Bay?
Welcome back. My name is Stephen Shuey. I'm sitting here with Jim Manning from the Walters Management Group. We've been talking about the professionalism in HOAs. We've hit on some of the problems. We've talked about the changes that are taking place. And Jim, now we really have to hit on the solutions.
Solutions. I think, Steve, one of the most important things for all of us to recognize is that there are not enough people to do the work that's already available and the work that must be done.
Well, there's more houses being built all the time.
Everything that is being built for community housing has a map. It becomes an HOA. But here's a big problem. Older properties. San Diego, for example, has a tremendous amount, I would say close to 800 or 900 properties that are at least 25 years old and have a lot of serious physical and financial problems. These are pieces of real estate. These are fee simple, but very few professional companies want to work with those kinds of problems. The good companies with the best people and the resources to take care of this kind of work are getting the big communities. They are looking for contracts that pay more.
You're talking about then those communities that are in trouble that are coming down the line are the smaller communities.
Not only small. I'll give you an example. In Oceanside, we just took on an hourly basis, except for the accounting side, a community of 117 units. To some companies that's small, to some companies that's large. Here's their problem. They're attached, but they're not a condominium, number one. They're 32 years old. They must have at least 50% more trees than their soil and sewer system can handle.
Wow.
They've got 40% rentals, and they sit on a choice piece of real estate. Their reserves are $200,000 in cash. The reserves they should have are over $1 million.
Oh,
they
so
are upside down.
They're upside down.
And to try and get this group to come together and do the right things, with the faction saying, we don't want to pay more money, we don't want to be done for $5,000, $10,000, but we have to take care of everything. Can you imagine the relationship between someone who's on the board of directors who really doesn't want to be there, but it's trying to protect his own interest or her own interest, and our company coming in and saying, we're the manager? No, we're not the manager. We're your consultants, and we're going to show you how to get out of this, and you guys pay us as we get along.
And that's the trend, isn't it?
That's got to be the trend. That's the only solution, because of the respect for the people who know what to do, the subject matter experts, or those who have been through it. To know how to choose the right kinds of attorneys, the right kinds of accountants, banking situations, and finance. This is not small stuff. This property is worth somewhere in the vicinity of over $70 million. Wow, yeah. So you can get an idea of what we're talking about. That's real estate. The solution to all of this is finding a way to attract more professional type people to come in our industry and go to work. You know that many managers in Southern California who have over 5 years experience, I'm talking portfolio subject matter experts, managers, they make between $40,000 and $50,000, plus they have terrific benefits. Many of them have lots of vacation and free time, and if they're properly managing their time, they can even enjoy a longer Christmas vacation, and they can make at least 5 to 10% more every year simply by increasing the value of their portfolios and what they do. I don't think there's a job anywhere in America that you can say is recession-proof. You can work as little as you want, as much as you want, and you can learn as much and be of value to people who own valuable real estate.
It's funny, that's what I get from a lot of the managers, is they enjoy working it because they enjoy being a help to the community and helping the community be a better place to live.
Our folks are really neat people. One thing I like to say about our industry, it's kind of social. You can't be in this business if you're a grouch.
You got that right.
You have to get along with folks, because that's one of the things that you become a subject matter expert. Group and personal relationships and communications. If you're not good at that, then you won't be in this business except maybe as an accountant or a bookkeeper. And I'm not putting them down. What I'm saying is that they don't interact as much as the frontline people do.
They're a necessary part of it. You've got to have the bookkeeper, you've got to have the CPA, the attorney, the landscape company, and the other maintenance companies, but that manager is the one who kind of pulls it all together and knows the right experts to pull in for the specific application on the community that best helps that particular community, and each community is different.
I am always recruiting. If I meet somebody who's mature in their ways, they have good communication skills, find out what they're doing, and why aren't you looking at our business? Not just for my company, which is good to look for that, but for anyone in our industry. I can probably place somebody good if they're willing to do some training. And it's going to cost them a little money. Training, what I mean by that is they're only going to make $25,000 or $30,000 for the first year. But I can tell you, if they've got the smarts and they've got the communication skills, within that first year, they're going to be at 45 and 50, what I call threshold portfolio, and the sky's the limit from there. You know Steve as well as I do. There are great positions in high-rise. They pay $160,000, $170,000 a year. There's a good friend of ours from the desert in the industry who's out working in Nevada now, running a huge community, $140,000 a year, and 6 weeks off. Not to mention our old friend C.J. Klug, who's the master of this thing. Right. And he's made great money, but he likes his time. Our industry is wide open for the professional.
Yeah, it really is. We've got such great opportunity here, and it's not that difficult to get involved in our industry. It should be pretty simple.
Right. Folks who might be watching this show, who are looking to maybe make some extra money, who have good skills with people, understanding and empathy, but understand this business, I wouldn't be surprised if they spend a couple of breakfasts with the CAI here in the desert, meet a few folks and say, I'd like to get involved. Maybe I could take on a small portfolio for one of the larger companies out here. I'll bet if they've got the right qualities, they could get that slot and make some decent money, even working part-time.
And the education's not that hard to get, because both the CAI and the California Association Community Managers have the classes, the cost is reasonable, it's easy to get involved and get proper certification, so you do have the knowledge necessary.
And we need them.
One thing we have here in this valley and throughout Southern California is we have the educations right there and available, and it's not difficult to learn. It's really people skills more than anything else.
I tell all of us, I'm telling you too, Steve, you start selling our business, our industry, our opportunity, and we'll get more people in.
Yeah, we will. Boy, what a great situation we have here. You know, this world, this area is ripe for taking on a new career if that's what you're after. We've just learned a lot about this career as a professional manager. You can also join that. You can get more information and understanding on how to get into this field, how to service your homeowners association as a board member or a resident who lives there by linking up with the Community Associations Institute, the CAI. And I hope you will give that a try. There's a chapter in your area. The phone numbers are listed at the end of this program on the credits. Boy, it's been a great time, Jim. Thanks again. What a pleasure to have you here. And we look forward to seeing you again the next time the CAI Report airs. For now, my name is Stephen Shuey.